What's going on? Boys, today we are talking practical Effie. Inferior Effie in particular, for the FE dunces, INTPs and ISTPs. The people trapped in emotional arrested development. How to fit in. How to get people to like you, or at least not make them hate you. When you're working with inferior extroverted feeling, it can be broken into material FE, conversational FE, and intuitive or sensey, feely feel FE, your reads. A good place to start, I've found, when you're dealing with people, new people you'll be interacting with regularly, like new roommates, new coworkers. Start with material FE. I like starting with cookies. People always get angry about the SFJ stereotype about baking cookies and giving people cookies. But then when you speak with SFJs, it turns out quite a few of them actually do like using cookies to get in good with people. And they like that strategy because it works. People like sweets. People like material. When you're at a new job, you're at a new apartment, new roommates, buy cookies, set them out, write a sweet little note, and leave it there. That is one of the lowest effort ways to start a connection, a positive connection with people, and make a good first impression. Now, don't be stupid about it like I was. I thought, wow, cookies worked with my new roommates. Maybe cookies will work with my new classmates. I'm almost finished with my master's. I brought a box of cookies into this huge auditorium and put them up at the front, and it was the most awkward and horrifying thing, and no one took a single one. That was a bad impression. You want to avoid that. Use your senses, use your instincts. Know when to deploy your cookies properly. Cookies, for a few people you'll be working with or living with closely for a long time, great way to start. Food, also another great way to work it in. Cooking for people makes them happy. Cooking for people will make them think better of you no matter who you are. Another means of getting in good with people is substances, or are substances. When I kicked alcohol, I started on nicotine. I don't smoke, but I carry a pack of smokes with me wherever I go if I'm going out, because people asking for smokes is common, and giving someone what they ask for, particularly something relating to an addiction, for free, is a great way to start a conversation and to get people to like you. I've started more conversations based on giving people cigarettes than I have pretty much anything else. My favorite instance of that is I was out on my porch smoking one time, and these foreign exchange students happened by and asked me for cigarettes, so I gave them some, and we ended up talking on my porch for about an hour about their experiences coming to the US, their thoughts on the country, some things about their lives, their majors, where they came from, their cultures and all that. And I saw them around a few more times. I haven't seen them recently, but that was a conversation I never would have had if I didn't smoke and had smokes on hand. I'm not recommending you smoke, but I am recommending, if cookies are good for some things, having substances available for other people is another great way to start conversations and make friends. Getting people to like you. A third and final version of material FE you can incorporate is domestic stuff. Caring for people. Catering to people. Whenever there are people around, I like cleaning for them. I like preparing food for them, which I said, but there's a difference between giving people food and preparing things for them. Making sure people are taken care of. Asking if they're okay. Do they need anything? How are you doing? How are you feeling? Would you like some water? That sort of stuff. Taking care of people with material is another great way to get people to like you. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes. You aren't forcing yourself to be domestic, you just are domestic, and people like being taken care of. But how does material Effie work as Fe? If you're familiar with cognitive functions, you might be thinking this all sounds like extroverted thinking stuff. And it is. It can be. You'll notice TE types do this sort of shit all the time. But they do it less caring about the effects or the mood it creates, and more because that's not always. Many FI preferring types don't do any of this, but the FI preferring types who do it because that's just what they do. You, FE type, are doing it not just because that's what you do. If you're an INTP or an ISTP, you're probably stupid, self-centered, paying attention only to what's in your head or directly in front of you. You're doing it to create a positive atmosphere. Atmosphere is everything. Improving people's emotional states. Getting them away from what's killing them inside and toward what's good about life. Because once you do that, you're allowed to feel better. Now we'll move into Conversational Effie. If you've never read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, read it. If you don't like reading, get it on audiobook. It's a great audiobook. Listen to it while you're playing your man-child or woman-child games, or doing the stupid little thing, little hobby that keeps you from dying inside. Listen to it. That book has wonderful information you'll need. Another book worth reading or listening to is called The Like Switch. That's a more TE approach to getting people to like you, but it works, and it's effective for the FE axis, what you're trying to accomplish with FE. The first thing you'll want to do is remember nobody gives a shit about you or what you think. In conversations, keep the conversation on the person you're speaking with. Ask them questions and be interested. Listen. Pay attention. Once they finish talking, ask them a question related to what they just talked about. They will, 99% of the time, people will not realize what's happening, and they will continue speaking about themselves. There is nothing people like more than talking about themselves, stroking their own egos, being listened to. If that bothers you, think of it not as stroking their egos, but as gathering information. You never know what you learn might become useful later. And you never know what you'll learn or what you could learn from someone unless you ask and listen. Think of people as wells of information, or information veins to be mined. You just keep asking those questions and being interested. Another strategy, always smile. Whenever you're speaking with someone, whenever you are out shopping, whenever you are anywhere anyone can see you or even might see you, force yourself to smile all the time. It'll be painful at first, but you'll get used to it, and you will notice a difference. I mean, think about it a moment. If there are a bunch of people around you, are you going to speak with the person who is angry looking and silent, with their brows down and frowning? Or are you going to speak with the person who's smiling, looks nice, looks approachable? It doesn't matter if you are a dead, angry husk inside. As long as you externally, present as positive and happy, people will give you, usually, positive and happy. Or at least some people will. It will make an impression. Try it, you'll see a difference. Another strategy. Try never to share any thought or opinion which might offend another person's sensibilities. The more baseline and positive you can keep your external conversation, the few times anyone will ask you about anything, the less chance you'll say something stupid that will give them a bad impression of you. And on that note, remember, keep that conversation on them, and if you can't, keep your fucking mouth shut. Be quiet. You give them nothing about who you really are. Because people won't like you. People hate each other. They will definitely hate you. As long as you can keep yourself, your external self, as inoffensive and approachable and positive as possible, the more people will like you. They'll think you're stupid. They will. But that works to your benefit. The more unthreatened someone feels by you, or the more superior they feel to you, the more positively they'll feel around you. You'll need to be careful because that can get out of hand, but in terms of keeping people happy, playing the fool is a great strategy. And to be fair, as stupid as they are, you're pretty stupid yourself when you think about it. So don't put your foot in your mouth. Another strategy. Get good with small talk. It's pretty easy. You'll pick it up quickly if you're an Effie user, not even an Effie preferring type. Proximity and repetition. When you are around someone regularly, when they see you repeatedly, they will imprint you in their heads. Repetition. The more you interact with someone, the more they'll imprint you in your head, or in their head. Being good at small talk around people you are around regularly, or speak with regularly, means you can buffer any potentially negative experiences with a wall or a timeline of positive small interactions. Learn how to do small talk. It's not that hard. Once you're good at it, you will begin to enjoy it. Talking about the weather, where you are, or where this person came from, great way to get in good with people and begin that timeline or maintain that timeline. Another strategy, because if you are engaging in proximity and repetition positively with people, even if you keep the conversation on them, eventually someone will start asking you questions. To deal with that, be interesting. I know you're boring. I know it's hard. Try to develop a hobby or a strain of knowledge which is distanced from you, has no negative connotations. Don't start talking about Final Fantasy or some shit to strangers. They won't like it. Be interesting. Have something with few to no negative connotations you can fall back on and discuss and know a bit about for when they decide to, when they're feeling generous and decide to learn a little bit about you. And once they do, and once you give them that, they will categorize you as the whatever you told them person. which is a good thing, which is what you want. Remember, the unknown is scary. It's threatening. If they can categorize you easier, you are less threatening. They can shove you into a little box and feel good about you. And the better they feel about you, the better you'll feel. That should be enough to get you off the ground in terms of conversational Effie, but in case I didn't make it clear enough, be non-threatening. Be inoffensive. Give no opinion. Give no anything which could even relate to an opinion or a thought or a feeling which could relate to anything negative they might hate you for or associate you with people they hate. People are keen on hating. Avoid that so you don't get categorized into their little hate boxes. Give nothing about yourself unless you've determined this person's okay, this person's cool, I can be a little bit more myself around them. On that front, also remember, be careful about doing that, and be careful about doing all this stuff, because if you've dug yourself too deep into this nice little inoffensive corner of the world, the moment you try to come out of it, people won't like it. People hate change. So when you're doing these things, if you can find a way to assert yourself, who you are, while still catering to group harmony, the mood, taking care of people and keeping them happy, the better off you'll be once you're trying to build real connections. Finally, we'll move into vibes Effie. This one's harder to explain if you don't use Effie. If you do use Effie, you'll know what I'm talking about. The vibe, the emotional vibe you get from people. If someone's putting off a bad vibe and you don't know them, don't engage. There's no winning there. They're looking for someone to take out their negative emotions on. And if you're vulnerable, they'll take it all out on you. There is nothing to be gained by interacting with people with bad vibes you aren't directly concerned with. Sometimes it's not even worth it if you are directly concerned with them. Avoid bad vibes. Another vibes FE strategy. When speaking with people, they'll tell you what they want to talk about. Your objective is to navigate the conversation in the way they will tell you to keep them happy. And they will tell you, people will explicitly tell you what they want to talk about. Maybe they'll be a little more subtle about it, but that's where FE comes in. You can tell. Just move the conversation where they want it to be and let them vomit words on you. Another vibes FE thing, if you're an FE preferring or FE using type, you'll already understand this, but if someone seems like they're having a bad day, or it's a small thing that doesn't matter, just go with it and don't make the person's day any worse. If someone added pickles to something you asked for no pickles on, fuck it, take them off yourself. Don't shit on someone else's day. They're probably already overworked, not getting paid enough. Don't hinder them. This is probably easier if you've ever worked shit jobs, but don't treat anyone any way you wouldn't want to be treated. That's easier if you have FE. You would think, well, FI types are supposed to be good at that, but they aren't. For some fucking reason. Don't make anyone's lives worse with the limited amount of time you have on the planet. Another vibes FE thing. Relating with people is good. Pretending to or forcing yourself to relate with people isn't good. Almost anyone will see through it. Any FE type will. If you're a higher FE type, why are you watching this video? You can probably get away with it. I don't know how, but higher FE types can just fool the shit out of people. If you are a lower FE dumbass, you can't fake it, and you shouldn't try. However, if you look for ways to relate to people, you can probably come up with something to relate with someone or what they're talking about, or congratulate them in a way that is authentic, that they will appreciate. That one's harder to explain. An example, a friend of mine who moved away recently, he is super Christian. He believes in no sex before marriage. He believes in a few principles that he follows actually religiously. And we were talking about it one time, and he was drunk, but he was sitting there articulating what he thought, why he thought it, and why it was important. And I was able to, because I believe in those things, if you are following a good principle that doesn't hurt people, that makes your life better and other people's lives better, has a positive outcome, you feel good about it, everyone feels good about it, that's something good, no matter what it is. I was able to congratulate that kind of in the way I just did, but I also added in the sense, if you're this drunk and able to discuss your principles, why you follow them and why they matter, they must mean a lot to you, and you're probably a better person than you give yourself credit for. You probably think about them a lot, have considered them enough to be following them, not because you were told to, but because you believe them. And that's admirable. And that was a good moment. And that's difficult to do without extroverted feeling. Say what you mean. Say what you mean in the way you mean it, and keep it positive. And people will see that authenticity and appreciate it. Altogether, those strategies should give you a nice starting place for your FE. They won't always work, but even if you can't get people to like you, having people not hate you will put you ahead of most other people. Some people will hate you no matter what. I have no idea why, but FI preferring types seem to hate FE, which is frustrating because I don't understand what FI types want from FE types. But keep working on FE. It will be helpful. People will start to like you. Another thing you can do, I forgot about this one. If someone ever helps you, write them a thank you note. Buy them a little gift card or something. Nobody does that. People will remember it. If you're an inferior FE type, I understand you probably hate people, but you live in a world controlled by other people, and people hate you, or will hate you. They hate each other bad enough. If you want to succeed, you need people to like you, or at least not hate you. So, work on it. Get good at it. Do it enough, it'll start coming naturally. Once it comes naturally, you'll start feeling a lot better. Try not to grip, Remember, if you can figure out a way to cater to Effie while asserting yourself or without bending yourself too much, you'll start feeling better. Just some things to consider. But that about rippity wraps this one up. I hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. If you're an SFJ, or an NFJ, NTP, SDP, what do you think about FE? We don't hear from SFJs on their function usage enough. I would love to hear more from them. If you are an NTP, what are your experiences with FE? What have you found that works? What frustrates you? Vent some frustrations. Like if you enjoyed, because it helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit sometimes, and comment your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. I asked all my questions in the first part. But that's how much fun we have on this channel, everybody, and I look forward to doing... Oh, shit, no. But thanks again for watching, everybody. Really, you could fill up a coffee cup full of it. I think I already did a mug recently. But fill up some coffee with fun, and drink it, and then don't sleep. And then drink some, or take some melatonin, and force yourself to sleep, to fit in with your schedule. And that's how much fun we have on this channel, and I look forward to doing this with you guys again in the future.